And you know what? I think like, you let one person play music, then you gotta let everybody. So it never works that way. It's outrageous.
And then someone's gonna bring their Bluetooth speaker in. That's super crazy.
Okay, this one's depressing.
Chris, next week, don't we have school, or do we have a week off? We have this week and next week, then we have a week off. Oh, okay, thank you. You're welcome. Morning. Another cute bird.
Yes, I got this one this weekend. Is this a skirt? I thought it was a dress. It's a skirt. That's cute.
Mary wrote chocolate over your lip.
Shut up.
What?
You're not.
I'm pretty funny.
That's kind of weird. That's
Saying chocolate, because you wrote chocolate all over your lips. It's not even
that's
brown.
what you didn't say. It's called lipstick.
Yeah.
You know what? And it
Did
looks
you
good.
wrote teddy bear all over your
My-
face because you got some
My
fur?
mom and my sister stay forever in the freaking bathroom and it annoys me.
Doesn't that make sense? They both got their girls.
I couldn't imagine it would.
I'm so glad.
I only have two bathrooms too. They use two freaking bathrooms.
That's great. What do you
Yeah,
what
they all
do you
at
do
least
in
use
the
the
bathroom?
same one.
What do you need to do in the bathroom?
Shave.
Really? What? He said he needs to shave in the bathroom.
You don't even shave.
Exactly.
Besides,
You shave. What do you, where eyebrows?
whole beard.
Yeah, if you shaved, it wouldn't be a beard there.
Yeah, that's why I shaved it. No. Come on.
No. These headphones slap. I got them for
Well,
$5.
lucky prostitute don't.
Listen to this. Feel out of an iPhone.
You can cut that out.
Yeah. Like it.
And they have that little bit thing over it. And they can allow them to
Yeah. But I can't have it in my ears like that. It's too
know you watched Riverdale. Is it any good?
What?
Riverdale, do you know what Riverdale?
I don't even watch Riverdale.
What is that?
It's a show.
It's a TV show.
Shameless is a good movie, good show. Good show.
I opened a 100-year-old trunk that my cousin gave me. My grandmother's. Is that from her attic? It's the green one. See how trash it looks? You could picture see what's inside. Yeah, that's my grandmother's.
Just on the brick wall.
Look at it inside. It's like perfect design on it. It is gorgeous. Look at the leather hole.
Oh my God.
Look at this. And then it has this little briefcase that folds out. It's gorgeous.
Oh my
And
God.
it's like 100 years old. It's in perfect condition.
I would like die for this.
But the
Oh my God.
exterior is so exciting.
That's so. Okay.
It's like a time capsule.
Paint it with white wash.
Well, because the inside's so perfect.
Tyler, is that a sticker on the back of your house?
The value of it changed the exterior.
Tyler?
And I was doing some research and it says
Oh, we're at the,
that there.
you know what I thought was right?
I mean, the
Shipping was
fabric.
right, right? And like at the auction, they have this whole marijuana section. I was like, ooh, mom, I want this. She's like, she's like,
Yeah.
no. I'm like, why not? It's nothing bad. She's like, I'm not stupid.
But that's-
That's a marijuana plant.
My cousin
Like,
opened
no,
it
it's
when I
not.
wasn't
And
there.
then she wanted
And
to
then
shoot
she
some
gave it
socks
to me
that had the
Saturday.
thing on it.
Oh,
It said 420. I'm like, mom, you know what 420 means?
And
She's
the
like,
lock.
"Oh, okay." I'm like, exactly. So I can't get this, and you can't get
Yeah,
that.
and then I made it so like that would be 40. But see the green? Okay, this
She's
is
being
wood.
she'll look
That's
past it.
metal.
She's like,
There you can see the metal all around the edges. The green,
I'll get over it.
it looks like it's painted canvas.
But if I see that tomorrow, she'll be like, okay, this is
But you
my
would
house.
want to keep the canvas on it.
Yeah.
So I just kind of wiped it off with a damp cloth. Then in my cousin's parents' attic for 50
I was going to the door right there. You know, we talked to the
Yeah. It's actually deteriorating.
No, like it's scarier.
Oh, no.
Hi, Mr.
Who knows? I do.
My mom.
You know, if you're gonna say I, you have to like frown. Good lord.
Birthday.
But that's okay, you don't even have to say I, you're gonna say she moved from this.
It's Wednesday, freaking Monday.
It is. How you guys doing today?
Happy.
Happy?
Yeah.
Let's sing the happy, happy, joy, joy song. Oh, happy, 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 joy, joy. Oh, happy, 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 happy.
No.
Thank you.
What?
Okay,
Wallace,
I have to put out one email.
Savage filled one out and Gordon's was in your box. So both of those are
Boom.
on the original and included.
Bang.
Yep.
Big.
They don't pay me the big bucks for nothing. I'm just kidding.
I was gonna say, I wanna work here now.
I don't get paid the big bucks. He does. Get that education.
I'm good.
Get that education.
I'm going for me get education if I'm gonna be a drug dealer, though.
Oh, Ernesto,
Yesterday,
come on
you
with
guys
that.
was having a full-on conversation. It was so funny.
Ernesto, I think that you are actually a person who cares about it. Believe it or not. You may not think so, but I think you do.
Wait, what did I say I was doing?
Yeah,
Thank you.
that's right.
He's like, no. I'm like, shoot, I would.
Let the birthday like that.
Or do you got you forgot when you got
Well, if you don't show up one day, we're gonna know that you
What?
forgot where you're supposed to go.
Hey.
Heck no.
What's that?
How long are you gonna work here for?
Yeah, back.
Are you like not gonna retire like Miss Ward? You just stay here until you're like 90?
That was worth it.
That is really what don't you say to me. That's just me.
What? You say mean things all the time.
She looks that old.
Nickname?
It's because her hair's white.
No, she's just really old.
She's
Stop it. Don't engage her in that conversation. Shut it down. Shut it down.
Old people around the county, they're not here.
Oh, they get more money if they stay longer.
No wonder they're staying, but she's on.
My bus driver 61 is fast. No, they're tired.
Okay, God, it's only once in a certain life.
Yeah, they got, and then I have this
Well, here,
I'm gonna get broke. I'm gonna get broke.
At the end of the day,
Hey, what classroom am I in? Is this P14?
Yeah.
what classroom you know now?
Oh my God.
I can't concentrate.
Chris, it might happen.
You guys are.
It might happen.
Oh my God! I gotta poop.
What?
That made me
Take your
poop.
time.
I've decided I'm being a pimp.
No, I'm not. I'm in a different
Oh, gee.
The only person you can get working for you would be someone like me.
She's like, God damn it, my way.
Okay, hold on. IP B14.
Hey, it's got it. Alright, guys, should I start coming out with my nickname? Mr. Wallace? Class, we're coming out with my name.
You're not a pimp, you're a regular.
I'm devoted.
No. I'm a pimp. And I'll pick you out of your drugs. Shameless.
Execute news. All these kids that
I'm fine. I'm fine. I already got all that.
Don't look so freaking. Well, when are we gonna start? We're gonna start right. Oh wait, actually. Oh, I do have to poop. So here's what I want you guys to
You
do.
don't need to know that.
Well, I just want you guys to know. I want to, I
Well, you
believe,
get it right
I
out.
believe in transparency. Take out your books. Chapter 3. When I come back, we're going to start reading. Now listen, guys. I haven't had a lot of stuff turned in for chapter 1 and 2. You also had an assignment last week. I hope you guys finished. And that's your federal spending chart from your 3 sources.
What?
I know you did. What do you mean, what?
Did you just point at me and say you know I didn't?
What?
Did you just point at me?
Lydia, you okay?
No. No, I didn't.
I didn't.
Well.
I'm just admitting and admitting.
Way to call yourself out.
I'm admitting to it. I'm not.
Are you done with the cookies?
Yeah.
Mr. Wallace, give me that.
Okay, so listen. While I'm gone, just for a couple minutes, unless I forget why I'm in there. While I'm gone, you should get on your gadgets, take out a piece of paper, and those of you who have gadgets, there is no reason why you can't finish that today. You should have done it the other day when we started, okay?
I was.
You don't know what to do? Were you not here, Nicole? Okay, so here's what you guys are doing. I'm going to put it on the board. This is how you should set up the assignment. First of all, it is a W4 assignment.
Wait, Mr.
Okay?
Wallace,
Yes?
what if you do the assignment and you got robbed? I was doing my assignment just for my paper.
Robbed of what? Your intelligence? Oh, that was a burn. Do you like fruit? Huh?
That just kills it.
That was, okay, that did kill it. Okay, so here's how you should set this up, guys. W4, first of all, and it's just call it your Fed
You want us to write first of all?
spend
Not funny.
chart. Here's what you're doing. At the top of your piece of, excuse me guys, you're going to have your 3 sources. So the sources could be now, some of you guys went ahead and went with PolitiFact. PolitiFact, okay, that's one source. Then you're going to come up, excuse me guys, then you're going to come up with another source and then another source, okay? And then what you're going to do is create a grid here. Guys, if you just write vertical lines, Ernesto, please. If you write vertical lines, then you're good to go if you're using line paper. Then here's what you're going to do. You're going to come up with at least, I don't know how many elements you're going to have, but one of the things, for example, was military. One might be on welfare. You're going to have these different categories, and you should have probably anywhere from 6 to 8, okay? most of the spending, as we know, goes to military. So what I want you guys to do is list what the spending is. So if it's like in the billions or the millions, you're going to say, let's say military, you can either do percentage or the amount. So if military is, say, 53%, then let's say welfare takes up 22%. You know, whatever the numbers are, okay? But here's the thing. Then you're going to show me the data from other sources too. So what you guys hopefully will learn from this is what is being spent by our federal government and according to which sources. Okay? And see if there's discrepancies. Now, be careful when you look this up. We're looking at 2017/18 spending. Or the most recent spending. So now listen, this is important. If you can only find spending for a given year, let's say 2016, then make sure your other sources also cover 2016. Because if you base it on different years, then you're probably going to have different data. Okay? I would imagine for something like military, for the big ticket items, it's going to be fairly consistent depending on the administration. Alright? Are we clear? Do you need me to explain this further? Nicole, does this make sense now? So what you'll need for this is your gadget if you have it. If you don't have your gadget, open up your book to chapter 3 and start reading chapter 3. But this assignment should have been done last week. I assigned it last week. We started it in class. I gave you guys time. Tomorrow we got 2 hours. I am not spending any more time on this. Yeah, we got 2 hours of this stuff.
No.
Yeah. Okay. I'm in code 3 now. My number 2 is becoming number 3.
You just drop out of 4 and
Drop out. Oh, I see what you did. Drop out. Yeah. Oh, that's. Oh, never mind.
Go.
Hey, did you do that assignment? Let's finish. Guys, I want you to emphasize this one. But if you don't have a gadget so you could do that assignment, then go ahead and start chapter 3. Now, if you have not done chapters 1 and 2, you guys can do that on your own, but you know, and if you're not sure what the hell you're doing, let me know, and I will remind you of what I'm expecting of you guys. Okay?
what if I already did it?
Did you turn it in?
No.
Yeah.
Well, then you need to turn it in. Okay. And make sure you got the weeks right. So chapter 2 covered weeks 3 and 4. Chapter 1 covered week 2. Gave you a little extra time with, and then when I come back, we're going to review this stuff right here. If you need to review chapter 2, the different types of economies, I want to talk about market, command, and traditional. We're not going to focus on traditional, but just know the difference between, just know that communism and socialism aren't capitalism. And know that within capitalism you have a free market economy. Okay? Alright, I'll be right back. And just so you guys know, Chris, I'll be in the AV lounge. I'm not going to poop. I have to make a phone call for the IEP that's coming up. So,
I'm driving now?
but it shouldn't take too long, especially if the parent isn't home. What's that?
Did I tell you that I'm driving now?
You warned me already. Thank you.
Oh.
By the way, guys, Ernesto now drives, so according to him legally. So just be advised.
Yep,
Yeah.
the roads will never be the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
Honestly, you want to have street race, Mr. Wallace?
What, on his bike?
He has a truck.
Ooh, zing. Do you like apples? How do you like that fruit? I swear that up.
Yeah. Drive nowadays, so, you know.
Dang near Poultry stole all the meat on the back of the meat truck. On Shameless, there's a truck that takes all the meat out of it.
Look at all you working.
No.
They were-
I'm eating though.
What?
I'm eating though.
Good for you. You want a cookie?
No, I
Damn.
Eleven. Is that right?
No.
You know,
11.
see that, and then you just kind of, you need to get an attitude with me. Hey, let's just work. Alright.
We're supposed to be working on certain different goals that it's, actually looking at it. No, not yet. I don't think so yet.
And she was.
Oh, okay.
But she's no longer.
Okay. So all of a sudden now. Weird.
genteel Southern woman goes to see her doctor, and she says, "Doctor, I've been having silent gaseous emissions." Doctor says, silent gaseous emissions. The doctor says, so how often have they been occurring? She says, well, last week I had one in church, and then after that I had a silent gaseous emission at the bank, and then when I went into Piggly Wiggly I had one. So he's writing this down, and she says, and doctor, I must confess, as I've been speaking with you, I had a silent gaseous emissions. And he goes, okay. He says, well, he says, that's interesting. He says, you know what? First thing I want to do is have your hearing checked. It's not funny. You get it?
Yeah, I get it.
Okay, what's
She's deaf.
she's not having silent gas. She's farting everywhere.
Yeah, I know, because you can't hear it. She thinks it's silent.
She thinks it's silent.
That's a really stupid.
Wait a minute, that's the punchline? I didn't even know that. No, I'm kidding. That was a stupid. You know what?
I hate explaining shit.
Explaining what?
Shit.
What? Let me please. I'm trying to like elevate the level of vocabulary in
That
here.
was
Oh
the-
my god. This is like
That, Mr. Wallace, that was the least effective way we could have done it.
Worse than that. I mean, it's not worse than that.
alright, so let's talk real quick.
Why?
Give me an example, Tai, of an opportunity cost when we're talking economics.
I ate them all.
Mr. What? That's Robbie.
Yeah, how do you like that apples?
No, for real. We got-
How do you like that cupcake?
No,
Do I like brownies? Not a big fan.
What?
Yeah. I don't, you know what? Hey,
I was gonna bring you brownies.
There's something wrong with you.
I have had brownies that I like, but I typically don't reach for a brownie. I'm not a brownie fan, but you know what? I discovered at Rayleigh's Bel Air, they sell these brownies that are half brownie, half Madeleines. Those
What
are
kind of
good.
brownie have
Are they circle
Madeline.
looking?
Yeah, they're kind of round.
Yeah.
They kind of, yeah.
Those are good.
They look like seashells.
No,
But
they're no.
freaking cookies. They
Different.
look like seashells. No, that would be a seashell.
Oh my God.
No, they don't look like, no, I understand, like, you know what, that's how stupid I am. I wasn't connecting with that. Now I realize why you said that, because Madelines look like seashells, you're right.
Oh.
No, these look like little, they're like little, like cupcake bites.
Yeah.
They're small but they're like a swirl that's like part, Madeline part. Okay, so never mind. What the hell did I just, oh, Tai. Give me an example of an opportunity cost.
You went on that tangent about it.
What would be what are we talking about when we're talking opportunity cost? Does this mean it's something that costs you money immediately? In the immediate sense, is it kind of a condition that exists when someone does something and not something else? So, okay, that was a hint, by the way.
Bye.
What?
An opportunity cost.
I mean,
What is an opportunity cost? What do I mean by that?
Um,
For example, can anyone have an example? An opportunity cost. So think about
you
this.
get to choose what the cost is of an opportunity to pay.
Okay, so you will choose what the cost is, what cost you want to incur.
Yeah.
So what are the opportunity so obviously, what does cost mean? When I say the word cost to you, okay, we're talking like cost. If I say this is going to cost you something, what does it mean? To lose. You're going to lose money. Now, take the word opportunity. If you take an opportunity or don't take an opportunity, what life scenarios can happen where you lose money? For example,
Buying groceries.
okay, buying groceries.
You can choose not to.
You could choose not to buy groceries.
how you gonna live?
Well, then you would start with that.
No, but you can, but we're not talking about that in particular. Think about it in terms of, let me throw this at you. Hey, Nico, what are you doing right there? You're doing the assignment? You guys can put away your gadgets, assignment's over, we're back to class now. Okay? Because I want you to be part of this conversation. So there's an opportunity, let's talk in terms of work. If you work, will you make money, Ernesto? Well, not everyone, but you will. So Devin, no, I'm joking. That was sarcasm. I know. Why are you looking at me like that? You know you're the golden one. You're my bookie. I would never
Oh
be
my God, are you seriously gasping?
Ernesto, if you work, will you make money? Okay, now, here's a question. So if you don't work, you won't make money. So, but what opportunity could you embrace that while you may not make as much money now, it might allow you to make money in the future?
College.
So for example, if you don't go to college, there might be an opportunity cost. Why, Andrew? If you choose not to go to college, what is the opportunity cost you lose out on? You said there's a loss. How are you losing money? Because if you work, you're making money, right? So I'm going to go to college, which means I'm not going to make money right now. Why would you make that choice? Because in the end, in the future, what might you get? Yeah, you might get more money. The ability to buy a house. Okay? If you buy a house, I like to tell my kids, whenever I'm filling up gas, I'll tell them, listen to that sound. I said, that's your college fund. They just roll their eyes, and luckily my kids don't really want to go to college.
Whenever my dad makes a big purchase, he's like, there goes your college fund.
There you go. Yeah.
My mom don't care.
I had to pay for my own college, so. But I also, when I say that, I'm not saying it like, well, it's me. I grew up in an era when college was very inexpensive. It was extremely inexpensive for me, and I realized that.
Do you still have to go to college or like if we not?
You mean for me or like people? For you guys, it will depend. Okay? There's a couple factors, guys. You guys concerned with college. One factor is this: what college do you want to attend? If you want to attend AR, those of you who took are taking my careers class, what did you learn about the cost of AR?
46 per unit.
Boom. Very good. It costs $46 per unit. You remember how many units is a typical full-time student? No. Very good. So it's 3 units as a typical class. A full-time student is officially 12 units. Many students take 15 units if they call themselves full-time. So what you're looking at is each semester, it's 46 times 12. That's just for the tuition. Now you might sit there and think that's a lot of money, but that's still really cheap. Here's a difference. Okay. So what's 46 times 12? Well, it's basically about $500 a semester. Here's how much a UC costs right now, guys. UCs, I believe, cost about $7,800 a semester. So you're looking at a $6,500 difference. But you graduate from a University of California college, you're probably going to make a whole lot more. It will open up more doors for you. Obviously, it's going to depend on, your character, how hard you work, what you know, the skills you bring to the table, but just the doors that will open and the networks that are created. If someone's hiring you and they also graduated from a UC, that might impress them more than, say, if you graduated from a CSU. Okay? And sometimes people don't care where you graduate from. They base it on, who's the person in front of me? What do they seem like? Okay. So opportunity costs, again. Choosing to work instead of going to college will create an opportunity cost. Because you may be stuck in a pay cycle that you can't break out of. So that you guys know, the reality is sometimes when you start working and all of a sudden you're making money and you start establishing your lifestyle, If you want to maintain that lifestyle, then quitting all of a sudden to go to college is something you might not want to do. And then if you factor in things like, you know, a life partner, whether it's spouse, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, and then you factor in kids, that makes things even harder. Same thing, going to college might eliminate some opportunities for you concerning work. Those are just some of the realities of life. All right, so that's opportunity costs. Nicole, give me an example of a want, the difference between a want and a need. And if you could take two of the same types of items and then give me an example. What is a need? Okay, so food is a need. We need to have food to survive. Give me an example of a want in terms of food. What's that? In terms of food, hold on, that's all right. A house is, in terms of food, like, what kinds of foods do you need in order to survive? An apple, okay, good. So what might be a want? So what would be something that, let's say apples are cheap, right? But give me an example of something you would want that's different from an apple and may cost more. I like it. That was quick. I got a question for you guys. Okay, have you guys all taken a health class here?
Yeah.
Obviously you have.
Yeah.
Okay. You've taken a health class, whether you did it online or here. What would be the most complete meal you could eat?
Vegetable and meat.
Rice and beans.
Rice and beans. Why rice and beans, Libby?
With protein, carbs.
You have proteins and you have carbs.
Wait, does
Very
it
good.
matter what kind of rice and beans or?
Yeah, I mean, if you ate brown rice as opposed to white rice, it's going to be even healthier. But that combination of carbs and proteins are really good. I mean, if you can't eat anything else, that combination will keep you alive longer than, say, you know, something like if you're eating bread, just bread every day. Okay?
Bread and
Now,
eggs.
what's that?
Bread and eggs.
Bread and eggs.
Is that both carbs or what?
No, bread counts as the carbs that like rice. Like if you eat white rice and white bread, you're eating the same types of carbs. Those are both what we call empty carbs. Okay? So most people say eat whole wheat bread, whole grain bread, or eat brown rice, yeah?
What type of beans are the healthiest?
What type of, so I looked this up because my son wanted to know. So he assumed lentils had the highest amount of protein. He was wrong when we looked this up. I don't remember which kind of beans. I want to say,
That's not.
I want to say, I believe black beans.
I knew it.
I believe fava beans are really high.
What about pinto beans?
Pinto beans they're average. What was really low though were lentils. They were like, I think we're looking at numbers like this, anywhere from 4 grams, and I can't remember what the serving was. I think it was either a cup or half a cup. We're looking anywhere between 4 grams and about 8 grams, okay, of protein. So grams per, so they say the average person should get for, I think it's every, I can't remember how many pounds, I think like 2.2 pounds of body weight, you should have a gram of protein. So it's just under half of your body weight, you should have that much protein. If you're working out, I'm sorry.
Okay.
If you're an athlete. And if you're not, then you can go a little bit less. You could probably do a third. So if you're, say, a 200-pound male, you could probably survive on about 60 grams of protein a day. And so if you look at like certain types of foods, you know, I believe like a chicken breast for it. I know an egg. I eat eggs, and one of the things I like about eggs is that it's easy for me to count the protein. So a typical egg has 7 grams of protein. That's a typical egg. So I know and I try to get at least 20 grams of protein per meal. But you got to remember too, things like vegetables will have protein in it also. And vegetables also have carbs. You guys know that there's a lot of carbs in fruit?
There is?
Fruit, a lot of carbohydrates. There's a lot of natural sugars. Now, is it good? Depends. So the way your body processes the fruit, it's a lot better than, say, having a rush of fruit from, say, a soda. I'm sorry, a rush of sugar from soda. The way the body processes processed sugar is different than, say, so like you take something like an apple. So I read once that if you want to stay awake and you're driving and you want to stay awake, what's better than a cup of coffee is to eat an apple. Because the sugars, the way they're released naturally in the body, you'll have a longer sustained kind of sugar high than you would from, say, the caffeine. Which, caffeine, like if you drink a soda, that joke, you'll peak and then you'll valley really quickly. So all of a sudden you get really tired from it. So they say you should eat an apple if you want to stay awake. Okay? And so the way the body processes the sugars from fruit, it's a lot better than, say, getting your sugars from soda, from candy. But they're still sugars. So if you don't burn energy, if you don't burn calories, as you know, unused sugar will turn to fat. So you can get, one of the things they say that people make a big mistake with is that they'll eat these smoothies that have lots of fruit and lots of yogurt and stuff like that in them, and maybe juice. Those are really high in sugar. And if you don't burn that sugar, it's going to turn to fat. Okay? So this is the economy of calories. But I'm not a health teacher. I'm speaking in generalizations here. So a want would be something like Nicole eating pizza over, say, rice and beans. Have you guys ever bought rice and beans at the store? Really cheap, really inexpensive. In college, I lived on rice and beans. I actually lived on more pasta than I did rice. And I obviously wouldn't mix it with beans, so I ate a lot of pasta. What I do is scramble eggs, chop up vegetables, pan fry those, saute them in a pan and throw those over pasta. Maybe add some red sauce. I'd add olive oil and Parmesan cheese. Yes.
Fried rice.
Fried rice, yeah. So anyway, so a want versus a need. So I'm going to go back again. Now, when you say a want is a house, what need do you need?
For house.
Yeah. So a house is under what category of need? For example, food, you know food is a need, right? It's a necessity. Pizza is a want, that's under the category of need. A house would be what? What category?
Want.
A house would be a want concerning what need? Yeah?
Shelter.
Shelter. So like you might want to live in a house, but maybe based on your salary, you can only afford an apartment or a studio. Or maybe you can't even afford that. So you're looking at renting a room in a house in a roommate situation. So a lot of people, when they first get out of high school, will do that. A lot of friends will room together. Warning, that ends up in a lot of breaking up of friendships when people room together. I've learned that the hard way. Not always, but it can happen. So wants and needs, resources. Andrew, what is the study of economics? It is the study of what?
Wants and needs.
Wants and needs in competition with what?
Unlimited.
What?
Resources.
Unlimited resources.
Yeah.
No. Limited resources. So unlimited wants and needs in competition with limited resources. So, Devin, give me an example of one type of resource. You can look at the board, that's why I have this stuff up. But if you can commit it to memory, you'd be better off to get you ready for the midterm.
Midterm?
Yeah, you guys have a midterm, and anything that's on this board right now is going to be on the midterm. Give me an example of a resource. Capital, all right? So we got 3 types of capital. 3 types of capital, only 2 are listed there. So I'm going to give you one. We got financial capital. So money, a bank loan, a loan from a parent, money that you have saved up, that's a type of capital. Okay, so if you want to buy a business right now, like let's say when I was in graduate school, I worked for a fence company, and my boss was going to retire. He was going to quit. And so one day I said, well, what are you gonna do with all your equipment? What are you gonna do with the fence company? He says, I don't know. I was thinking about maybe selling it. I said, let me buy it. I thought I'd start a fence company, my own fence company. And he looked at me and he says, if you buy my fence company, I will kick your ass. I said, you know, I'm laughing. I'm like, well, why? He says, because you're in graduate school. He said, you want to end up like me? Look at me. I'm broken, man. I am physically broken. He says, why the hell have you been going to college all this time? So you could buy a damn fence company? There's Steve Kellers. I love this guy. He says, if you buy my fence company, your whole education was wasted. He said, no, I'm not going to sell you my fence company. I said, all right. I didn't really want to buy it, but I thought, hey, if he gave me a good deal, I could take all that equipment and keep fencing. Capital. So if I would have bought that company, I would have used my own capital. I probably could have got it for cheap. Could have got his truck, could have got a lot of the equipment. What other types of capital are there? Devin, give me one other type of capital besides financial capital. What's that? Physical. Tyler, give me an example of physical capital. What are we talking about? Talking about objects. Objects used in what?
I'm not sure.
Everything we're talking about when we're talking, what's that?
Neighbor.
No. That's a different type of capital. We're talking physical capital. No, land is a completely different type of resource. So listen, what we're talking about, guys, is production. So physical capital is the machinery that allows us to produce. Okay? So let's go back to my bakery. What machinery do you need in order to bake?
Oven.
You need an oven. What else do you need?
Human capital.
What's that?
Human
No, we're still on physical capital besides an oven. What else, guys?
Need a building.
No. You need a dishwasher. What else?
Make bread.
Refrigerator.
Rolling pins, whisks.
Boom. Now you guys got it. Yeah, sure. I mean, you got to clean up, right?
Yeah, but
Sponges, dish soap, hand soap.
can we get it with you?
Okay. That's physical capital, the machinery that allows an economy to produce. Now, let's go back to what you said earlier. Labor is part of what kind of capital? Human capital. Give me another, Ernesto, give me another resource. Besides capital, human and physical, what else? What do we mean by land, Tai? And we are not talking about the ground on which we stand.
Even that girl in the light.
Very good. Talking about natural resources. We're talking about what our old book used to refer to as the bounty of the land. For example, if I'm running a bakery, what natural resource do I need? Can I at least finish the damn sentence?
No.
That's part of being a teacher. You get to like ramble on and sound important and smart.
But that's what you're teaching us, aren't you, Mr.
No,
Walker?
that's good. Yeah, you're right. Flour. Okay, what else? What else do you need?
Baking soda, baking powder, eggs.
Oh, I don't know how you can cook
All
bacon.
eggs.
Yeah.
Mr. Wallace, eggs come from the farm. And eggs,
No, eggs come from chicken, not from a farm.
The chickens are on the farm.
Oh,
But they don't
Libby,
come
Libby, do you
chicken.
like eggs? How do you like that chicken? What else? Thank you. Water. Hey, what other natural resources do I need to run a bakery? And I want you guys to think about this.
Right, bread, whiskey.
What do we put the bread in?
And we have a bread maker. Bags.
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 And we also put them in
So we
boxes.
need dough for the bread.
The dough, that's where the flour comes in.
Oh.
Wow.
What if I'm baking cakes? Besides dough, what do I need in
And
cakes?
sugar.
Sugar, very good. What else do I need besides sugar if I'm baking cakes? You guys know? Have you guys ever
Milk.
baked? Milk, what else?
Eggs,
Eggs, what else?
butter.
Very good, butter. These are all natural resources, all right? They come from somewhere. They don't grow from trees, right?
That was the
Eggs grown on.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Kind of weird.
Bad analogy. All right, and then what's another type of resource? Input. Okay, so the concept of input is this. So we have land, which is the, it's actually, Libby, when we're talking in terms of natural resources, we're talking wheat. From wheat, we get what? Flour. Now we're talking, these are input. Butter, eggs, those are all inputs. Okay?
Honey.
What's that?
Honey.
Honey, yeah, these are all inputs that they might come from natural resources originally, but these are the inputs that allows us to produce. Okay? So I'm going to give you guys a new one. Y'all have cell phones, right?
Maybe.
No, I got robbed.
Okay. So, hey, Nico, give me a resource that's relative to cell phones. Let's take us through this. What's a resource?
Computers.
Okay, electricity would fall under what? Any of these things? Now we're talking the logistics. We're talking about the ability to produce things. We'll come down to, you can have all of this stuff, but you need, remember the I word?
Infrastructure.
You need infrastructure, business infrastructure in order to run. So that's where electricity comes in. Okay, what else? What's another resource? Give me a look. We're making cell phones. We are a cell phone company, B14.
Silicon.
Okay, so we need certain types of natural resources. We need circuits. Are these inputs? Or are they natural resources? No, they're inputs. Now, what's the natural resource we need to make a circuit?
Electricity?
Metal.
Oh, metal.
Right? The metal conducts it. Very good. We need the metal. We need the silicon. What is it? Where does that come into a phone? I don't know.
The processor.
The processor. Okay, what else? What else do we do? Do we need glass?
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe.
What else do we need?
Rubber for the phone cases.
Rubber for the phone cases. What else? Okay, so the rubber would be the natural resource. The phone case itself would be the input. Okay. Well, what other things do we need? So we covered land, all the natural resources required for producing a phone. Do we need human resources?
Labor.
Yeah.
Do we need human capital? So we need labor. What else? We got a big company. Well, we need labor. What else do we need to run the company?
A manager?
We need managers, and we also need this thing right here. You guys ready for this? Entrepreneurs. We need the people with the business, the economic vision, who make decisions about how we market, what we sell, for whom we sell to.
And come up with different ideas.
We need idea people. These are all part of this category of resources called entrepreneurs. I used to tell people, I point to my eyes. That'd be what? Vision. People with business vision. Okay? All right. What is a good, Andrew?
Cheeseburger.
A good would be a cheeseburger. Okay, something you produce. What else? Besides a cheeseburger. That's what we call a consumable good. Okay? Your workbooks are consumable goods. Your textbooks are not. Give me another good. What's the definition of a good?
Cars.
Okay? So that's another example. What's the definition of a good?
Like a physical item.
That's been what?
Purchase.
Not been purchased. I mean, it can be purchased, but before it can be purchased, what has to happen?
Produce.
Like,
It has to be produced. Guys, this is all about production. The economy is about production. Everything about the kind of this new wave of American businesses and the economy that President Trump had a vision for strengthening our economy was bringing back jobs, creating labor, bringing back production to the United States. Okay? So, for example, the thing about the tariffs, the really high tariffs on the solar panels that come from other countries, any high tariffs, the idea is that it would inspire people within the United States to produce these goods. Thank you. This person is not here. Try Mrs. What's Savage's
D4B.
D4B. Okay, thank you. Okay, so it's all about production. And then of course with production, when things are being produced, what does that mean for workers?
More money.
Why?
To get people producing
Because
more.
they're working on
Because they're working in production. And they're working in all of the things that support production and all of the things that benefit from, let's say if we open up a company here in Sacramento, it employs 5,000 people and they're producing. Where do the 5,000 people go to eat? Where do the 5,000 people shop? Where do the 5,000 people get gas so they could go from home to work and to Applebee's or to Walmart or to the Century 21 theaters? You guys following me here?
Yeah.
So like when production is humming along, this is all good, and what are those people paying into? Because their paycheck, what's being taken out of their paycheck?
taxes.
Taxes, and what do taxes pay for?
Our college funds. School.
Services.
Yeah.
Use big term, I'll ask if I ask specific, but generally speaking, it pays for services. So when we look at the strength of an economy, we look at two factors: production and services. The amount of goods being produced and the amount of services. I'm going to throw out a new word for you guys.
So excited.
GDP.
Oh, yeah.
Anybody know what GDP stands for?
The gang.
Yeah. You down with GDP?
Like how much money
GDP, you guys ready? Repeat after me, everybody. If you don't, if anybody doesn't repeat this,
Gross domestic product.
I am going to smack Tyler up that side of the head so hard
I
with
would
this
love to
ruler,
watch
it's gonna
that.
break. Okay, you guys ready? Gross domestic production. Dude, it's not looking good for you. Say it again, gross domestic production. Gross domestic production. Gross domestic production. Okay, that's our GDP. So what they look at, typically when we look at a country's GDP, a nation's GDP, we're looking at what are all of the goods and all of the services being produced or rendered in a given year. Okay, who has the highest GDP in the world right now?
Me.
You guys know?
No.
The United States. Who's behind the United States?
China.
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 And then right now the projections are, I believe the Chinese are projected to overtake us if things continue the way they are by 2030, I think, is what they're looking at. They will have the highest GDP in the world. Okay. Although that could start leveling out because China, one of the things that they have discovered with all of their growth is that they weren't managing it well, and all of a sudden they were discovering that it was leading to major environmental impacts, and they're starting to scale back, but major environmental impacts. Okay? GDP, what does GDP stand for, Devin? I think we need to repeat it again.
Gross
Domestic production.
Or gross domestic product or gross domestic production. Very good. Libby, what does GDP stand for?
Gross domestic product.
Fantastic, everything.
Nicole?
Thanks.
Nico?
Gross domestic production.
Ernesto?
What?
I love you. Taita?
Yeah.
GDP, what does it stand for? Alright, have you been tuning me out this whole time? Alright, cool.
Gross domestic product.
What? You just said something.
Just said
He
something.
just gave you the answer. Can we put away our cell phones, please, and take out our headphones? Taita, Ernesto, I need you to.
I mean, I'm listening, she's not listening.
Actually, you did give the answer. listen, I'm willing to be flexible, but there, you guys gotta meet me halfway. You gotta be listening, and you gotta be able to spit back answers like I spit out rhymes.
Oh.
But you don't though.
Spit out right. I'm done.
Okay, listen up, Tai. Andrew, what does GDP stand
Gross
for?
domestic product.
What?
It's gross domestic production.
Gosh.
I would accept product too, but production. Okay, now here's a question, Tyler. No, Ernesto, I'm gonna ask you. What does GDP look at? What two elements do we look at of a nation's economy? Guys, we're not done.
Who's talking?
I have a bunch of you are like, you guys are going for your backpack. Don't reach for your backpack. Hands off the backpack. Freeze. What do we look at when we're looking at GDP, Ernesto? We're looking at all goods being produced in a given year and all services being rendered. Okay? Why would we look at, what's the logic behind saying that there's a whole bunch of services being offered? Like, let's say within a given year, all of a sudden, all of the schools in Sacramento start getting a facelift. They all get new computers and they all get new stadiums. What would that tell us? Those are a lot of services that are being
We
given.
had a lot of,
They're
we had
being
a lot of extra
supported.
money.
A lot of extra money that comes from what, Libby?
We got taxes
Mining.
and bonuses.
May I tap you really gently on top of the head with this?
Hit her.
Please, thank you.
No.
Very nice.
You just might me.
I did. So services implies taxes, which implies people are working. Because if you're not working, the government ain't getting taxes. Okay? Give me an example of a traditional economy, Tyler. What kind of system, economic system, might occur in a traditional economy? Think caveman.
Trading.
Fire.
Yeah, it's really,
Bartering, trading, very good. Tai. Question, do we practice communism here in the United States?
No.
No. Very good. Okay, so what's the implication then? When I say communism as a political / economic practice, what am I implying? What's being suggested? So here, I'll give you the flip side to it. We have a capitalist society. Who makes most of the business decisions here in the United States? No. That would be a communist society. Now, that doesn't mean that the government isn't involved and it doesn't regulate. But who makes the decisions? Businesses. So here's what makes, you guys ready for this? Look at me, please. The market. We live in a free market system. The markets will drive decisions. You guys remember this cat right here, Adam Smith, on page 21? What did he propose? That governments let what happen? That government lets business, hey, Libby, can we not do that right now? That government does not regulate. You let businesses, you let the market determine. The market. Okay? And of course, who's part of the market?
Oh, we are.
We are, because we're what?
We're
Consumers.
We're consumers. We're a major part of the market. Remember, there's no production if there's no consumption. Things are only going to be produced. You guys have ever heard the term demand? New term. Demand.
I demand Libby to do it.
Now see, here's the thing though, Ernesto. If you don't have any cash, if you don't have any capital, and by capital I mean power,
You can't.
then you can't demand.
You can't.
So demand is the desire, excuse me, please. Excuse me, please. It's the desire for something that includes the ability to pay for something. You can want something, but producers aren't going to produce it if you can't buy it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You can want it all you want. Like, how many people want a really fancy car? Now, a lot of people do. They want, but you know, like Ferraris, you notice not everyone drives a Ferrari. Okay.
I got one car.
Socialism. Excuse me, we're not done. Okay, we got one more minute. You put away your stuff. That's fine. You know what?
Yeah.
Where you go? Why do people just walk out on me?
Because it's wrong. It's because it's wrong.
Don't forget, guys, we're starting chapter 3 now. Hey, come on in, sir. Oh, you're the interpreter. Come on in.
The one in the butler.
You're not here.